It's done. Go home, everybody.
In today's video, I will debunk every PVZ. Debunk because I am bored. Now I will first debunk the terrible plasma pea shooter debunks. Their first arguments are that plasma pea shooter is known canon and is a fan-made character that wasn't supposed to be a canon character, but this is disproven as PopCap helped create and the context itself sounds otherwise.
They've been super supportive and vocal, and we were thinking of ways to include them in the design process more. So we held a contest to vote on the new pea shooter design.
We took in hundreds of submissions of concept art and cool characters that people had created.
We narrowed that down to a smaller field, voted on those internally, and then presented the top picks onto Facebook for fans to vote.
The character that was selected was called the Plasma Pea Shooter. He's sort of got a cosmic flavor to him. His weapon is very similar to the Future Cactus, where he can fire off a bunch of quick, plasma pea bursts, but he can hold and charge it for like the ultimate plasma blast. It's also going to have a bunch of new enhancements to Garden Ops. One of the bosses in Suburbanation DLC.
This just proves the concept of him is fan-made, that the character itself is officially made and canon. And now that I've proven he's canon, it's time to disprove the arguments that he's an outliner or that the statement is hyperbolic and is a joke, which is really easy. Their first argument is literally just ignoring PVZ scaling, as there are many statements and feats that back this up, like Zomboss rebuilding all of time and the party plants creating singularities ripping holes in the space-time continuum, and zombies destroying planets and being bigger than solar systems, and the gnomes using galaxies as safely cushions or zombies making galaxies, and they ignore the fact zombies tank escape through time, which alone rewrites reality, and solar flare, which scales above Plasma Pea Shooter himself, and everything from the last games including escape through time. And I shit you not, I am ignoring a ton of feats and statements. And now time to debunk the last two arguments. The hyperbolic is disproven, as this is his fucking bio, which explains and lets you know the lore of them. It's very obvious it isn't hyperbolic. And other feats in their bios, like zombies digging through the core of the earth or party citron stuff, proves it isn't hyperbolic. The last argument, that it's just a joke, literally have no proof and is just someone making up shit. Even the developers hint at Plasma Pea Shooter having this power.
He's sort of got a cosmic flavor to him.
Now that I disproven all of the terrible Plasma Pea downplay, time to start with the gnomes downplay, and then the arguments that PVZ, Garden Warfare, and Heroes ain't canon, and prove the comics scaling. Their arguments for this is that all the gnomes are just feetless fucks that say random stuff, or that all their feats are just things they can only do in their realm, and that the plants and zombies don't scale towards them. The first argument is debunkable, as they can move in their dimension, which space-time continuum is unstable.
Of Mystery welcomes you to the trials of Nomus. Only the very bravest of you will stand a chance of success. Beyond the trials, tests, and traps await two great powers sealed away behind rainbow locks.
And I got even more feats for them, but I will just link my scale for them in the description note. I found more scans for them and change some of my arguments, and I ignored cosmology scaling. And for the second argument, the gnomes fighting the zombies in the PVZ universe caused a time catastrophe alone. They can still use their abilities, it's just that they're not trying to destroy time, and rather are trying to stop the plants and zombies from messing it up. I will explain this for the third argument, what any way they can make themselves Invincible can curse the zombies which nullify their power and can even kill the zombies by just shifting between brothers.
And get a chromatic purge. What even happened? I died. Okay. We all died. Your team was not.
So that I've proven that they still are as powerful as they are in the Gnomeverse. It's time to disprove the last argument that the plants and zombies don't scale to the gnomes. And in this trailer it is shown that Citron could fight on par with the gnomes. And if you play the Trials of Gnomes, you know both the plants and zombies can fight and defeat the gnomes, including King Gnomus, in which if the gameplay that I shown of Zack Scott games killing the gnomes wasn't enough proof, let me provide more evidence. As in the Gnomus boss hunt, the zombies fight the gnomes for Time Park, which is because they don't want time to be messed with, and the zombies are able to beat and banish King Gnomus' sons, taking back Time Park.
And now it's time to debunk my friends' arguments against the gnomes, which would be fairly easy. Note this was from a long-ass time ago when we hated one another and of course never sent hate seriously. His first argument to debunk the gnomes is that because we don't see any galaxies in the Gnomeverse, it means their statement that they use galaxies as safely cushions are wrong, even though this is burden of proof and he never proves this, and arguments of bad reasoning and beliefs ignorance with the fact he ignored that the gnomes can go into different dimensions, including the PVZ universe, which I've proven, and he claimed the realm is town level without evidence again, and later debunks himself again, same terrible argument, and he then claims that the realms only have one neutron star, which debunks them being town level. So arguments of inconsistencies and claim because we don't see anything else but neutron stars, it's not even planet level, which is extremely wrong, as number one, the Gnomeverse is a whole entire dimension on itself. The Gnomeverse is made up of multiple realms, which are called infinities. Each of these infinities hold unlimited energy, and each of these infinities have their own space-time continuums, as when the gnomes destabilize space-time in one realm, in the other space-time will be normal and unaffected, and this dimension has multi space-time continuums. Let me explain.
I don't need to debunk anything here, but I do have to say how horribly this aged, as the wins I have now is insane, and the journey I went through was hilarious as hell, to be honest. Never proven this, and I already proven how they are universe plus, and even then hacks can upscale characters. Like for example, if a character hacks lets them recreate universes, does that mean they universal? No, as they would still have the power to create universes.
And now we got this argument, which is terrible. The first part makes no sense, as no one claim they are the same. And your second argument is so debunkable, I will just show evidence of pea shooters turning into different pea shooters. Your first argument is just a complete lie, as the pea shooter never dies, and fire pea description alone shows that pea shooters have fire resistant to the point they can ignore it and use it and literally set themselves on fire to counter ice or coldness manipulation, or generally because they want to. And pea shooter himself can turn into golden pea shooter, which is a pea shooter on steroids. Your second argument doesn't really prove anything, and the third argument is ignoring the fucking fact that damn fire pea shooter literally turns into a regular pea shooter. So you're just making up head canons to support your arguments while ignoring any actual proofful. Talk about biased and Shadow Pea Shooter being in the Shadow Plant family doesn't disprove anything, as he's Pea Shooter cousin, and this would mean Shadow Pea Shooter was just a regular Pea Shooter that became a Shadow Plant, like with Fire Pea Shooter becoming a Fire Plant, and Pea Shooter himself is one of PVZ main characters and isn't just a species Mao. And the argument on Plasma Pea Shooter I already debunked, and your arguments on Pea Shooter in PVZGW games being a different Pea Shooter gets debunked, as he's called and is treated like Pea Shooter. He even acts like Pea Shooter. And the very last point they make is ignorance beliefs also burden of proof. And they never even gave a single reason for this, and talking about using the main composed version of a character, since everyone seems to forget every version of a as a fucking character, even not subspecies, like for example xenomorphs have tons of subspecies and they get included with a comp version that character obviously. And now the arguments that PVZ Garden Warfare and Heroes are not canon, which gets debunked by the fact that Imp Mech came from PVZ Heroes and Garden Warfare came to terrorize the plants of PVZ2, and the fact that PVZ Heroes has a crossover with PVZ2. I would go on and debunk the comics downplay, but I think this was enough. Tell me, what do you think can also stop the downplay?